likes cheesecake? I could tell you who. The husband. Welcome back to Sweet Thursday. Hello family. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you are with Gravy in the Kitchen. So today, the husband requested cheesecake. We have the ingredients. Why not? I am going to be doing something a little different to the base of my cheesecake. I don't usually keep graham crackers or graham cracker crumbs in my house to make a graham cracker crust. Whew, that's a long one. But I've decided I'm going to make the crust out of sugar cookies. We have all the ingredients to make sugar cookies. Sugar cookies are good. Cheesecake is good. Why not? So that's what we're going to do. So we need to get started on our sugar cookie crust. So in the mixing bowl, I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar, half a cup of butter, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to add just a pinch of salt. In this bowl, I have 1.5 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And we're going to mix this up really well, and then we're going to be adding our flour mixture. Because we're using such a small amount of dough here, it's going to take a little bit longer to incorporate everything together. I have the oven heating up to 375 degrees. I do have cheesecake pans or spring form pans, but since we are going to be using a cookie crust, I figure the cast iron skillet would do a better job. But I do want to butter it really well. I have some water so the dough will not stick to my hands. We're just going to make a giant cookie. Continuously keeping your fingers moist. I have never made a cookie crust for cheesecake. This is new to us. But I figured it can't hurt. And we're going to bake our cookie crust until it's nice and golden brown. While this is cooling, we're going to go ahead and get started on our cheesecake filling. I'll let you know how long it took for this crust to cook. I think it's going to be pretty good, pretty ingenious too if you ask me. So the cookie crust took 20 minutes. It's got a light golden brown. The pan is still a little warm because, well, it's cast iron. It's going to hold in heat. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and move back to the mixer and make our cheesecake filling. So I'm using this cream cheese I got from Azure Standard. You can use the brick cream cheese if you like. I just like this flavor. It is 7 ounces versus the brick that is 8 ounces. And I have 4 of those in here, so a total of 28 ounces. Now if you do use the bricks, it's going to give you 32 ounces. It's not going to make that big of a difference. Let me make sure I get all the goodness out of here. Alright, so that is 4 things of cream cheese, which is 28 ounces. And I didn't even wash the bowl. It still had the cookie dough residue in it. The paddle had the cookie dough residue in it. It is fine. It is fine. We need 1 cup of sugar. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We need 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. I have lime juice open. That's what I'm going to use. We need 3 eggs. These eggs were given to me by a coworker. They're farm fresh eggs. I'm going to crack them in the measuring cup one at a time and dump them in. And we need just a pinch of salt. We're just going to mix that until everything is incorporated. Scrape it down a bit. And that is all we're doing. Alright, let's get all the batter off of this paddle. We don't want to waste any of this. Smells delicious. Are you the type of cook who, when someone in your family requests something and you accommodate that person? Now, most of the time, I make whatever I want to make, whether because it's ingredients we already have or it's something I want. But occasionally the husband will request something. Chocolate chip cookies, cheesecake. And when he said he wanted cheesecake, I was telling him, I don't have graham crackers. And I'm not going to the store to buy graham crackers. That's just not my style. So I sat there for about 2 days thinking, what can I do for a crust? Now I know there are cheesecakes out there that are crustless, but I didn't want a crustless cheesecake. So it's like, oh, a cookie. What kind of cookie? I was thinking chocolate chips. What is that? That's a piece of cookie right there. Because I didn't wash the bowl. I was thinking chocolate chips because we just made chocolate chip cookies. I was thinking brownies. But I was like, no, because I don't want it to be a chocolate flavor. I just want to have, you know, a nice crust. And then I was thinking, oh, sugar cookie. That would make the perfect crust. Alrighty, look at that. Perfect. Get all the goodness off. Oh yeah. Cheesecake cooks better in a high humidity oven. So I have a small pot with water that I'm going to keep in the oven while we bake our cheesecake. The crust did take 20 minutes to cook. Took about 30 minutes for it to cool down. We made the batter, put it in there. We have it back in the oven, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take. It's going to take somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour. But we want to make sure that when we put a toothpick in the center, it comes out clean. We need to keep track of our pot of water in there to make sure it still has water in it, because that water is going to heat up and steam inside that oven, and it's going to raise the humidity in that oven. Now, if you ever had a cheesecake and it had those cracks in it, those are caused by 2 reasons. 1, low humidity. 2, taking it out of the oven too quick. Once we know our cheesecake is done after the toothpick test, we're going to turn the oven off, leave the cheesecake and that pot of water in the oven for another hour. That way the temperature of that cheesecake is coming down slowly before we take it out of the oven. So those 2 reasons, the water, leaving in the oven off for an additional hour, will reduce the odds of having a crack in the cheesecake. If you've ever made cheesecake and you found out you had your cheesecakes end up with cracks, chances are it was one or both of those 2 reasons. See you in an hour, guys. So it took an hour and 15 minutes for that cheesecake to cook. Then I turned the oven off. I left the pot of water in there and left the cheesecake in the oven for 1 hour in the oven with the oven off. It's beautiful. We're going to let it cool completely before we cut into it. So it is late. I'm not having cheesecake at 8:30 at night. So I'm just going to leave it right here until tomorrow. Maybe I'll have it for dessert after breakfast. Who knows? But it is beautiful. I'm really curious to see how the cookie crust turned out on here. I think the husband's going to be happy. I'm just trying a very, very small piece. I'm dying to get in here. I think that cookie crust worked, guys. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Can you see that? I just want to taste it with you guys. But can you see that cookie crust? The cookie is not crunchy or crispy, but the flavor is perfect. The flavor is perfect. Look at that. That is perfect. The husband is going to be happy. He is going to be ecstatic. I will no longer be making cheesecake with a graham cracker crust ever again. One, it's an item that I don't normally keep in my house. We always have things to make cookies with, whether it's chocolate chip or it really doesn't matter. Sugar cookies, peanut butter cookies, it doesn't matter. I always have those ingredients in my house. And I think making it in this cast iron skillet made a difference also. I do have the springform pans. We won't be using those anymore for cheesecake. The cast iron skillet is the way to go. So if you don't mind, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. So this was another sweet Thursday in the books, guys. See you on the next one. Bye, family.